Have you ever wondered why Ethiopia has recently decided to import only electric cars and impose a limit on their usage? The official narrative is that it's all in a bid to reduce carbon emissions and mitigate global warming. Quite a noble cause, wouldn't you agree? However, what if I told you there's more than meets the eye? Consider the man at the helm of this policy, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The Ethiopian government under his leadership is pushing for this radical shift in automotive policy. But is this really about saving the planet, or is there a puppet master pulling the strings behind the scenes? Let's delve a bit deeper. The global elites, those in the highest echelons of power, are said to have a vested interest in controlling the world's resources. The electric car agenda fits into this narrative quite snugly. Control the cars, control the people, right? You see, electric cars are not just about reducing carbon emissions, they're also about control. The lithium in the batteries, the charging infrastructure, even the ability to drive your car, all can be controlled by those in power. Now, isn't that a curious development in a world that's increasingly concerned with carbon emissions? But let's delve deeper. Did you know that the top 5 biggest ships in the world emit as much carbon dioxide as all the cars on the planet combined? Yes, you heard that right. These behemoths of the sea, these cargo vessels, are responsible for an amount of carbon emissions equivalent to the combined output of every single automobile in the world. Let's put this in perspective. There are over 1 billion cars worldwide. Every day, these cars collectively drive millions of miles, consuming vast quantities of petrol and diesel, and in the process, emitting substantial amounts of carbon dioxide. Yet the top 5 largest cargo ships alone manage to match this level of emissions. How is this possible, you might ask? Well, these ships run on what's known as bunker fuel, a type of fuel that is incredibly dirty and emits vast amounts of carbon dioxide. It's a byproduct of the oil refining process, the stuff that's left over after all the more valuable fuels have been extracted. And it's this cheap, dirty fuel that powers the engines of the world's largest ships. Yet, this isn't the story that's often told. The narrative we're fed is one of cars being the primary culprits, of us needing to switch to electric vehicles to save the planet. But this is a smokescreen, a distraction from the real issue at hand. Consider this. If we switched every car on the planet to electric, but left these massive ships unchanged, we'd still be facing a monumental carbon emissions problem. The shipping industry, largely out of sight and out of mind, continues to contribute a significant portion of global carbon emissions. So if these massive ships are the real culprits, why the sudden push for electric cars? Electric cars, they're hailed as the saviors of our environment. But what lies beneath their shiny, eco-friendly exterior? Let's peel back the layers on this so-called green revolution, and what we find may surprise you. At the heart of every electric vehicle is a battery, a lithium-ion battery to be precise. But what is lithium, and why should we be concerned about it? Lithium, my friends, is a soft, silver-white metal, and it's the lightest in the periodic table. It's highly reactive, and it's most commonly found in underground deposits. Now here's where things get interesting. The extraction of lithium is a process that's not only energy-intensive, but also involves substantial environmental damage. Imagine vast amounts of water being used to extract lithium from the earth, leading to water scarcity in already drought-prone regions. Picture toxic chemicals seeping into the soil, polluting our precious earth. And let's not forget about the carbon emissions from the mining process itself. Now let's talk about the end of a lithium battery's life. You see, these batteries aren't immortal. They degrade over time, and when they do, they need to be disposed of. But here's the kicker. Lithium-ion batteries are incredibly challenging to recycle. Often they end up in landfills, leaking hazardous materials into the environment. So we're left with a paradox. Electric cars, designed to save the environment, could potentially cause more harm than good. And it's not just about the environment. The demand for lithium could also fuel conflicts over resources, leading to political instability and social unrest. Surely the Ethiopian government is aware of these potential pitfalls, but if that's the case, why are they so keen on importing only electric cars? Could there be something more sinister at play here? If electric cars are potentially more harmful than traditional vehicles, what's the real reason behind Ethiopia's new policy? Could it be that this policy is less about reducing carbon emissions and more about control and surveillance? Let's delve deeper. Imagine a scenario where your personal vehicle isn't just a mode of getting from point A to point B, but a tool for the powers that be to monitor your every move. Sound far-fetched? With the advent of electric cars, this could very well be our future. The Ethiopian government's push towards electric cars isn't merely an environmental initiative, it's a potential ploy for control. You see, electric cars can be tracked, their usage monitored, and even controlled remotely. Imagine being a dissenter attempting to flee, only to find your car's engine has been hacked and immobilized. But how can the government monitor electric car usage? Enter the Fayda digital ID. This ID isn't just a piece of plastic with your name on it, it's a comprehensive dossier of your personal data, stored in a government mainframe. Your iris scan, your fingerprints, everything. And in the next 2 years, to use electric services, one needs a Fayda ID. So where does this leave you? Every time you plug in your electric car to charge, you're essentially letting the government know your whereabouts. Is it possible that the Ethiopian electric car policy is just another move in a global game of control? It's a question worth pondering, don't you think? In a world where truth can be elusive, it's more important than ever to question what we're told. We mustn't swallow narratives whole. Instead, let's dissect them, scrutinize them, and seek corroborating sources. Is the switch to electric cars truly for the environment, or might there be other motives at play? It's not about fostering distrust, but about fostering curiosity. Never stop asking questions. After all, the truth is often stranger than fiction.